TheRewindSports60.com. Relax, reset, rejuvenate. Go to our link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60. TheRewindSports60.com.
What's up, Mitch? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. With John DeFilippo and to some extent Bill Lazor coming on board, what's your sense for how specifically each one of those guys can help you? And what's the biggest challenge to getting up to speed with them when you haven't been able to be really with them in person for 7 months?
Yeah, I think the Zoom meetings helped a lot, just trying to get to know them through that. And then there's going to be an acclimation process right now, just being in the meetings. Obviously, they've two both really good coaches. We're lucky to have them here and just absorbing as much information from them as we possibly can, just get to know their styles a little bit. But they're both bringing a lot to the table, and we're excited about that. Just the offenses they've been a part of, the quarterbacks they've both coached and been a part of. So we've got a really good quarterback room with the guys we have, and just learning from those two coaches, I think it's going to be exciting.
Hey, Mitch, I think I'm up here. Combo question for you. I wanted to ask you about a couple things that have been different for you this offseason. First, your work with spear training and getting your shoulders in balance. That I saw a post on Instagram about that. And then your work with Jeff Christensen with your footwork. I know he's worked with Pat Mahomes and Garoppolo and Tannehill and those guys.
Yeah, it was a interesting offseason. Just, I mean, with COVID and everything else going on, I didn't want to travel, so I stayed here locally and trained with Spear, and John Secor and his staff did a great job. I loved working out there this offseason. And first of all, it was just a safe environment to work out in. It was just usually me and him and maybe one other in the gym at a time, just keeping it safe with all the protocols and stuff. But just getting a lot stronger, getting my body back to where I feel like it needed to be. In training with him and his staff, I definitely feel like I had a great offseason in the weight room. So a big thanks to them and everything they've done for me this offseason. And then working with Jeff has been awesome too, just how he coaches the quarterback position and how much he knows about just getting back to simple mechanics of the game. And I really haven't ever adjusted my mechanics, but working with him, I feel like my footwork and mechanics have gotten a lot better. So it was, I think it all worked out for the best, and it was kind of meant to be that I stayed here local and just got some great work in that way. So I'm very lucky to work with both those guys.
Pat Finley.
Hey, Mitch, I'm not sure we asked you about this last time. What was the shoulder recovery like for you during the off season? Had you ever really been through anything like that before? And can you tell us now, after the fact, what role it played in your performance last year?
I mean, I had surgery, and then it's just a rehab process from there. So for me, it's just one day at a time. I think the first week after surgery was probably the toughest, just laying around and just being in a lot of pain. But I think after that first week, I really bounced back really quickly, getting out of a sling and then just moving around and then just getting stronger and stronger. And then you get to a point to where you're not thinking about it anymore. And you get all your motion back, and it just feels like 110% again, which is where I feel right now. So a big thanks to the trainers and again, John Sikora and his Spear staff and everyone here that have helped me just recover from that. And then last year, it was just playing through pain, basically, having to deal with wearing that sling and just knowing that your body's not at 100%, but you just one of those things you got to battle through. And obviously, you would just rather not have to play with that, but it was just something I had to battle through.
Cheryl.
Hi, Mitch. What is What is the routine for you going through the safety protocol, and how does that change everything you've been doing in the past?
The staff has done a great job with all the protocols around the building, the physical distancing, how meeting rooms are set up, and just how safe we have to be with testing and coming into the building. So, I mean, every morning my day starts with a COVID test. So we go in, we get tested, and Andre, our head strength trainer, has done a great job just keeping everyone safe with the protocols and getting those results back, and making sure we're taking the right safety steps to keep everyone in our building as safe as possible. And it's just physical distancing, sanitizing, and just spacing each other out and trying to be as safe as possible in the building. And when you get on the field, you just try not to think about it and just play football, which we've been doing. And young guys and rookies have done a great job just walking through plays and stuff. So it's just the new normal for this year. It's going to be not a normal season, obviously. It's going to be, but we just got to adapt, adjust on the fly, and see how things go. And I think everyone's done a great job at adapting, being selfless, and it's going to be about taking care of yourself when you're outside of the building and just being as safe as possible.
Can I follow up? When you see what's going on with Major League Baseball and the Cardinals and other teams having trouble, does that concern you?
It is concerning. Health and safety and family is number one. So it would be concerning not to have a season, but I think people's health and being safe is definitely more important. So first things first, you just got to make sure everyone's healthy and taking the safe precautions. And I think we're doing a great job. Everyone just wearing masks and spacing out. But we want to have a season, but if it's not safe, we just got to get to a place to where it is safe so we can have one.
Kevin.
Hey, Mitch, you mentioned the mechanics, and that was kind of a new thing for you this offseason. I was wondering what specifically about your mechanics did you work on, and how did you go about making those adjustments?
I'm not going to dive in specifically. I mean, hopefully it shows up on tape this year, just me having better balance in the pocket. Did a couple of things with the footwork and just how I'm holding the ball and where my release is coming from and stuff like that. So it's really the first time I ever adjusted my mechanics, and I just really loved working with Jeff and how he approaches coaching the quarterback position, and how he studied the great players that have played this position and how he translates that to coaching. So I just it's been really fun. I feel like my motion is better. I feel like I'm more in balance and the ball's coming out more accurately. So I'm confident with where I'm at right now and how all that work has helped me this offseason. So I'm excited about it.
Colleen?
Hey, Mitch. Given that this quarterback competition is more condensed than the team probably originally intended it to be, with fewer practices and no preseason games, how does that affect your mindset going into the competition?
It doesn't really affect my mindset at all. I think every day I show up, I have to prove myself that I'm the number one guy for this team, and that's just showing up every day, being prepared, and going out and being the best quarterback I can be for this team. So that's my mindset. Whether it's shortened or not, I just hope we can get this season going. Obviously, there's no preseason games, so you just got to take advantage of practice every single day and show the guys that I'm the leader that this team needs, and just roll with it going forward. So I'm excited to just got to take advantage of each day.
JJ.
Mitch, what are you looking for out of your coaches when they are going to be drilling so deep down into just what you do in practice, and it's all they're going to have to evaluate is those practices? So what are you looking for in return from your coaches to kind of keep you updated on where this competition is going?
Yeah, for sure. I think just transparency and honesty, which they have been the whole entire time. And it might not be exactly what you want to hear, but I mean, that's how you get through this thing. And I think that's what creates good quarterback competition. And hopefully this competition just makes our whole quarterback room and our whole offense even better, which I think it will. So you just want honesty the whole entire time, and make sure it's fair and everybody's getting an equal shot. And just the type of coaches and people we have in our building, I believe it will be. So it's not really a big concern.
Mike?
Mitch, right or wrong, there's people who have written you off, written the offense off. Psychologically, how does that drive you? How do you intend to attack camp and this season, knowing those things are being said?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, you were cutting off a little bit at the end, but I got the gist of your question. For me, it's very motivating. I mean, you're always going to have people writing you off, and it's just got to light a fire underneath you, which it has for me. And I'm just trying to prove everybody wrong and prove my teammates right. So there's just so much hard work that goes into it, and for people to write you off, I mean, that it definitely motivates you in a way that you just want to go out there and play as best you possibly can. So I'm definitely fired up, and you got to make it happen.
Stacy.
Hey, Mitch, great to see you. My question is, you talk about the mechanics and the physical aspects in the pocket. I know you went back and watched, you told us every single game from last year, every single play. Where do you think you've made the biggest gains from studying the scheme and studying sort of opposing defenses and coverage?
Can you say that last part again one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, just the biggest gains based upon all the tape you've been watching, Mitch, in really studying and diagnosing those coverages, from last year and breaking down every play. Where have you made the biggest gains, do you think, mentally studying the game?
I think definitely recognizing coverages just from watching so many different defenses this offseason. And then I think just seeing the mistakes I made last year and just knowing that all of them are easily correctable, I think that gives me confidence going into the future. So I watched a lot of ball over this past year and over the summer. You see the mistakes, you see really good plays, you see some really bad plays, and you see some just dumb things that shouldn't happen. But I think everyone just being on the same page, doing their job, and then me making smart decisions, I think that's where you see a lot of the good plays happen. So I think all the bad mistakes, they're easily correctable. And I think you just talk through those things to get on the same page with your guys and for me, getting on the same page with Coach Nagy and our other coaches, to where I'm just going out there and playing fast and recognizing where I need to go with the football earlier and just making great decisions.
Dan?
Mitch, just to follow up on Stacy's question there, with the specific strides you've made in understanding coverages, how would you describe that for the outsider in terms of what you've picked up this offseason?
How would I describe that for the outsider? I think it's just being more detailed, how you're studying film, how you're labeling coverages as an offense and really as a whole staff, how we're talking through plays, getting guys on the same page. And we're all thinking like one mind. So when we're seeing something as a defense, we're all reacting the same way, and we're all identifying it the same way and communicating it the same way as well. So we're able to play faster. So it's just seeing a lot of different coverages and make sure everyone's seeing the same thing.
Mark?
Hey, Mitch, curious about the process of just getting into this in this weird situation. When did you report, and what was the process like getting cleared to play? Have you been going through walkthroughs with the rookies? I mean, have you been trying to get a head start on things, or just what's the whole process been like up till now, and what kind of on-field stuff have you been able to do, or what have you been able to do at all just to this point?
Yeah, so today is my third day in the building, and we're going to have our third walkthrough with the rookies. They've been doing a great job picking up the offense and the defense as well. and just knowing the playbook so far from what I can tell. But it's only a walkthrough. Again, I'm looking forward to where we can get more full speed throwing routes and stuff of that nature. But threw a lot of routes this off season, so just really excited to get going for when the vets get here. Before that, it was 3 or 4 COVID tests, and they spaced them out, and you got to test negative 4 times before they can let you in the building, I believe. And I did that. I think my first one was last Thursday. So I've taken 5 or 6 since then. And so, yeah, that's the protocol. And today's my 3rd day with the rookies, but it's going well. It's just exciting to be back in the building and be closer to actual football. But we're really excited to get the vets here and really get going, get rolling, get through this acclimation period, and hopefully have a great season.
All right, we got 2 more here. We got Pat Finley. Go ahead.
Hey, Mitch, your coaches this offseason and in previous off seasons have said that they have to encourage you sometimes to turn the football part of your brain off when you're away. How in the world do you do that this year when you couldn't really leave the house?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, really this offseason you were thinking about just when could we get back to football, not having OTAs and just studying. For me, it was just trying to stay busy doing other stuff. Mostly it was getting on the golf course. That's when I would shut it off. So, yeah, doing different activities, hanging out with my girlfriend, seeing friends and family as little as I did this off season, but trying to enjoy that and just get as close as you can as some normalcy of what this summer was. But it definitely just, you got to take some time to shut it off so you're able to come back fully energized and ramped up for the season. But it's going to be different.
All right, last one. Caitlin, go ahead.
Mitch, Coach Nagy was talking about the fact that you have to be creative and creating this competitiveness because you guys won't put pads on until mid-August. How can you do that for yourself, for the rookies, for the offense, because you won't have those preseason games, because it's such a delayed and condensed kind of training camp? How can you create that competitive edge with what you have?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, it's easy. Just with everything everyone's said about me and now being in a quarterback competition every day, I'm just trying to bring that edge, and hopefully that edge and sense of urgency I'm bringing rubs off on the young guys and everyone else to where they gotta pick it up and get to my tempo, and we're just out there competing at every single spot, offense versus defense, whatever it is. And I think this acclimation period is going to go a lot faster than a lot of these guys think. So everybody better dive into the playbook, taking care of your bodies, and being smart when you're away from the facility and taking those precautions with all the testing and stuff going on. So I think me just bringing that edge and having that sense of urgency and bringing it every day is going to help get these guys going, and everyone should feel that sense of urgency.
With a newborn at home and some of your other family health dynamics, what went into your discussions on deciding whether or not it was going to be safe to play this season? And as a follow-up to that, were you aware of some of the rumors earlier this week that surfaced that you were thinking about opting out?
Yes. Well, I'll answer the first question first. I think, myself as well as every other player had conversations with their family and their loved ones about what to do in this situation. And, my wife and I both felt strongly about pursuing playing this season. There was never a discussion about opting out. But, when that came out, you have those discussions about, different things. And I respect everyone who is. I mean, I get it. I mean, I have a 7-week-old son. My wife and I, went through a miscarriage last year. We have a 3-year-old daughter. So, you have to weigh those different things, but it was one of those things where my wife and I both felt great, pursuing being in Chicago and being here. And after being at the facility and seeing how much care they've put into everything, it really is amazing how safe they make us feel here, how everything's separated. Obviously, there's going to be different times as athletes that our interactions become closer because of football, but whenever we have an opportunity to separate, we are. And, it's been really impressive to see what the Bears have in place for us. And you can tell a lot of people put a lot of time and effort in making the athletes and everyone who works here feel safe.
Pat Finley.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Doing great. You doing all right?
I'm doing okay. I was curious, what was it like being at home and not in the Chicago area? What did you do to stay sharp? Did you feel, and this is a bizarre question, but these are bizarre times, did you feel like you were put at any sort of disadvantage because you didn't have teammates down the street to throw with in your free time?
You know what, the situation obviously for everyone's been crazy in 2020. Being far away from Chicago and never living in Chicago, I had only been in Chicago a few times. Obviously you'd want to be around your teammates and throw with your teammates, but the situation was that just wasn't the case. I thought, we optimized our Zoom meetings to the best of our abilities. And then throwing wise, I was very fortunate to find, some young guys who wanted to work. I live in California in the off season and got a lot of good work in. Obviously it's not with your teammates, but it's still good work. I wouldn't say disadvantage is the right word. I just say, that's just the situation. The situation is what it is. My focus is, acclimating to being in Chicago, getting to meet a lot of people at this facility, trying my best to memorize names, which is impossible with so many people, but I'm working on it. Looking forward to getting to know my teammates. I'm enjoying the QB room. The big thing, I know quarterback competition, all that, you'll ask me about it, but the big thing is we help each other improve in the QB room, not only as players, but as people, and that'll help our team. So I'm focusing on all these little things, and, the situation is what it is. I'm just doing everything I can each day in the moment to do the best I can to, enjoy this and be the best player I can be.
Kevin.
Hey, Nick, how are you doing?
Doing good.
So I guess how do you go about winning a quarterback competition or just doing your best over the next few weeks when you don't have a preseason, you didn't have OTAs, minicamp? How does that kind of alter at all the way you look at training camp practices so that you can achieve what is, I imagine, your ultimate goal?
I think the big thing is just don't focus on winning. I'd say the big thing is focus on getting to be myself out on there on the field, and when a play is called, playing to the best of my ability. The beautiful thing is there's a lot of similarities in this offense from my Philly offense. So I feel right back at home, whether it's the run game, the pass game, there are similarities to where, it's been a year since I was sort of in that offense, but it's nice to have the verbiage and have this feel and understand why we're doing it. This is how we do it. This is the history, because the history of the Philly offense came from KC. We evolved it in Philly, but Coach Nagy brought the KC offense here, and it's become the Bears offense. So for me, it's not, a lot of people talk about the quarterback competition. It's just like I always say, everyone goes in a game wanting to win a game. Saying you want to win a game doesn't do anything. You have to do the little things each and every day. Whether it's your workout, whether it's your pre-practice routine, whether it's just when Nagy calls a play in practice, just executing that play. If it's checking it down to the running back, check it down to the running back. The biggest problem is we watch the other guy and he makes a big throw and you think to yourself, oh man, now I got to throw a big throw. And then you don't even read the play out. And that's just this is going on year 9 and it's been a crazy career and it just keeps getting crazier. I'm just going out there, and if I'm working the second team, third team, first team, let's just play ball, man. I love this offense. I love the verbiage. I've been in this offense. I know what I can do in this offense. But all that stuff gives me is wisdom. Wisdom to go out there and help my teammates, to help Mitch, to help Tyler. I'm not keeping secrets from Mitch. I want to help Mitch. So if there's a play that I've ran a lot and I know a lot, I'm going to give him that information, just like, I know he will with me, because we're working to help each other. And, when he makes a great throw, I'm going to be right there to, slap him a 5, and then they'll probably have to sanitize our hands, but I'm going to do it. That's part of this thing it is a competition, but we're all on the same team. So we're going to push each other every day, but there's got to be a healthy way to do it.
That's on.
Hey, Nick. Yeah. Adding on to that, how tough is it though to kind of, show what you can do and to get acclimated into this offense? You know it a little bit, but with such limited time on the field this year.
You know what? It's the situation. You know, you can't say it's tough. It is a situation. And I think that my mindset is I have to embrace it. And I just simplified in my head. You know, I had my first full 2 days. The last 2 days were like my first really full days. We're with the rookies really working, but I really just enjoyed every moment. Whether it was, you know, working out, whether it was the installations, whether it was going to the walkthroughs, I go home, I'm tired because you give everything you have. But I think the big thing is I'm just focusing on every little thing, and I'm not worried about, oh, am I at a disadvantage or am I at this? Like, I don't really care. Like I've said before, if I'm the first, second, third, like I'm going to go be myself and I'm going to play, and a play's called, I'm ready to roll. The big thing is just hearing the verbiage and just seeing the similarities from my Philly offense when I was there has been really, I feel right at home, which is huge. Just to read the plays, like, oh man, I remember in Philly when, okay, this is what we do. And then it involves into football talk, like, hey, we did this, and this off this play. Have you seen that? Oh, I haven't seen that. Oh, this is what it looks like. So all these little things are happening. That's really fun. It makes the game a lot of fun. But you'll hear me say over and over again, it's just going out there playing ball, and whatever happens, happens. And, you know, we're all part of the Chicago Bears. And the biggest thing is we have to, you know, make this team better.
Colleen?
Hey, Nick, what has Matt told you about what this quarterback competition is going to look like and what kind of challenges they're going to try to create for you within practices, given that there are no preseason games?
You know what? There hasn't been a lot of detail with that. And quite frankly, I don't really care about asking them for it, because whatever it is, it is. Like, we're going to go out there and play. If it's, you know, Mitch getting the first reps and I go second, then that's what it is. If it's us alternating every day, that's fine as well. I think it's important for us as athletes not to focus too much on those details, as opposed to, you know what, right now I have this play called and I need to know how to execute this play and help my teammates, and what the routes look like, and helping, you know, in individual drills, helping each other. So all those little details, I'm not too worried about. I don't think we are as quarterbacks, because they don't do us any good. Like, let's just go play ball. Let's just go out there and be the best we can be. And that's it. I know y'all are probably like, man, that's a little weird, but at the end of the day, like, we're in the situation and everyone has their own mentality. My mentality is simplify things, enjoy the game, have fun, play with some swagger, love your brothers, love everyone here, and go out there and play ball and have fun.
Hey, Nick, how you doing? How big of a distraction is it for you, if at all, every time you hear about the Florida Marlins or the Milwaukee Brewers, or a well-known player opts out or a teammate goes to the COVID-19 list? And does it ever cause you to stop and wonder if you're actually going to get to the season and make it more difficult to go forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's been a ton of people, you know, everyone's been affected by this in one way or another. Some people much more than others. And it is a very serious situation. So whenever you do see those things, and part of your mind does wonder, like, man, what's going to happen? But then I pull myself right back and say, you know what, like, I just have to focus on the little things and just focus on the moment and focus on today and focus on right now. I have to prepare and do the best I can, and we'll see what happens. I know that like the Chicago Bears and you know, the NFL are doing what they can to prepare. I don't know what the future holds as it pertains to, you know, a month from now, but I do know today, you know, after this, I have a meeting, and in that meeting, we're going to go through our installation today, and that's all I'm focused on, and we'll just see what happens. But I do want to say that I know there's everyone's been affected, and, you know, just you know, our prayers and thoughts are with everyone, because it has been a really tough 2020 for every single person.
We got time for 3 more. JJ, go ahead.
Hey, Nick, you talk about focusing on the little things and the little details. How do you not let that focus snowball into something that might be negative, when really all you're being evaluated on is the little details and the little things when you don't have preseason games?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest challenge for any person and athletes, is when you have a timeline and you have to do something and someone's analyzing you, like in this situation, like, what do I do? It's easy to stress out about it, every single little thing, and worry and try to, okay, how do I how do I do this? How do I do that? And the advice I would say is, and this is how I'm approaching it, is alleviate all that stress, because at the end of the day, what they decide, the way you control it is being the best you can be today. Like I said, in this next meeting, that's all I have to worry about. I have to go in there, I'm gonna listen, hopefully have some great conversation. We'll talk through football, we'll talk through jobs, we'll talk through reads, we'll talk through why we're doing it. I'm a big why guy. You gotta tell me why. If you don't tell me why, I'm gonna talk and we're gonna have a conversation until we figure out why. And so those little things add up to where all of a sudden you're honed into football, you're honed into playing, and you just forget about all the other baloney. I mean, that was the mindset going in, to the playoffs in 17. Everyone wanted to know, how the heck do you handle this situation? It's like anything else in life. I'm human like everyone else, where all those distractions do affect me at a moment. You can ask my wife. There's times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. And then she's like, all right. And then I'll take a breath and we'll have a conversation about, all right, I know how to home back in. I know how to eliminate the clutter. So I spend time eliminating stuff that shouldn't be in my mind, that I shouldn't focus on. And then I home back into the moment. And I say that to say there's people that'll see this interview say, like, kids that are going through that. And it's like, hey, we as professional athletes deal with that, but we might not talk about it all the time. Well, I'm talking about it, and this is how you handle it. You got to eliminate the clutter and just focus on the simple things and try your best to enjoy it, because when you enjoy something, you usually do it better.
Mark?
And Nick, I buy the idea, the approach of going into a competition, just playing ball, whatever happens, happens. But what about from a production standpoint? Does a competition bring out the best in some guys? Does it heighten the focus? Is it any different last year, where if you had a bad day, you knew you were still going to be the day one starter? This year, if you have a bad day, maybe not. Does that make any difference in not how you approach it, but how you actually perform?
The key is getting to the mindset to where it does not make a difference. That would be like saying, hey, if you're not the starter of this game, but you get thrown in the fourth quarter because you're not the starter, you don't need to play good because you're not the starter. Well, that's not how this is. I've been thrown into the fourth quarter of some big games. I've been thrown in when I wasn't the starter. Did I have the luxury of just saying, you know what, that's just what it is? No, you got to play at that level. That we get so much into, oh, this guy's a starter, this guy's a backup, whatever. I mean, if you're out there playing, like, execute the play. You got to build those relationships with teammates. That's the biggest thing that's not talked about. It's building the camaraderie, it's building the culture. I mean, players make plays. You watch film, you're not running routes on paper. There's a 5-step route that I've thrown in games that turns into a 3-step route because the guy played and he did his thing. He didn't run it on paper. If he had ran it on paper, it would not have worked. Players make plays. Nagy will tell you the same thing. So it's not just speech. Like, this is me focusing in on what's coming. Because competitions, though they are, I mean, competitions, fourth quarter, overtime, like, you got to be at your best. Absolutely. But competitions are really good. I love competition in practice. I love competition and whatever. But sometimes competitions, if you approach them the wrong way, become very toxic for a team and an organization, because then it becomes about me and not about the team. So the hardest thing is, how do I make it about the team and then enjoy it in a QB room when I'm competing with the guys? And the biggest thing is having great conversations with Mitch and Tyler, us realizing we're in this together, though that we are competing from the outside, who's going to be the starter, who's going to be the backup, whatever, that's real. We don't have to, like, you sit over there, I sit over here. We're not talking until this is done. No, like, let's talk through, how can we make this offense better? How can we do that? And whoever's the best person at executing this offense that can help the Chicago Bears win games and lead this team should be the starter, and then the other guys will be there to support him. And if for some reason that starter gets hurt, then the guy who's behind him will go in and he will lead the team, and then the other guy. That's how the best teams play. That's how the best teams work. I don't just say that I've been on those teams. I've seen how it works, and that's how I approach it. And that's what's important to me. And as you can see, I'm pretty passionate about that. I'm pretty passionate about helping people. I'm pretty passionate about developing relationships. I've seen it done very well, and I've seen it done very poorly. So I can pull from each way. But for me, I look forward to helping Mitch. I look forward to helping Tyler. I look forward to them throwing touchdowns in practice and me cheering them on. And then I want to go out there and execute as well. And at the end of this whole thing, we'll see what the coaches say, and whatever the coaches say, that's best for the team. And then we roll as the Chicago Bears and we get this thing rolling. Fortunately, we'll be able to do that because, as we've seen in 2020, you don't know what's going to happen.
All right, last one, Adam Johns.
Hey, Nick, thanks for doing this. Kind of a combo question since it's the last one here. A lot has been made about your connection with Nagy, Laser, and Flip from the past. So what has it been like to be in Zoom meetings and now you're on the field with them again? Do you still feel those connections? Are they as strong as before? And going off that, you mentioned culture. With your experiences, what do you think you can add to Nagy's culture? What do you think of Nagy's culture? What do you think you as a veteran quarterback can bring to it at this point?
Yeah, I think the relationships were there. It's exciting because those were all at different walks of my NFL journey. You know, Laser was early on in 2013. Flip was, 2017 and 2019. So we were on a Super Bowl team, and then we were on we had a crazy year last year in Jacksonville. And then Nagy was quality control in 2012, and then was my OC in 2016. And it's really fun to be with them because now I'm going on my 9th year, and, every experience you have in life, you gain knowledge and wisdom, and then you're always trying to seek more. You don't ever know everything. So I'm trying to learn. I learned a new thing with protection yesterday that I hadn't heard, and I don't think anyone in the QB room had heard. It was Bill's philosophy. And I'm like, man, that's actually pretty good. It didn't make sense to me at first, but when you explained it, I get why you do it, but I've never heard it explained that way. So it's fun to have that database of information of knowing those guys and being in game situations with them. It helps too to build up, speed. They've seen me in games. They know what I'm like in games. And that helps a lot. And it's enjoyable, but it's really cool to now be in this situation where we're all in the same place for the Chicago Bears, and doing everything we can to help this team. And for me, bringing in a culture right now, it's just getting acclimated and getting to know the guys. There's some guys here that know me. There's some guys that don't. So getting to know them as much as I can, doing my best to memorize names, and then just bringing energy, going out there and playing and helping them and getting to know them on and off the field. That's the big thing. Just being a part of the team that cares for one another is the biggest. So I knew when I was coming here and we agreed to the trade and the restructure of the contract, being with Coach Nagy again, I know him as a human being and what culture he brings and the history of, Andy Reid's tree and stuff like that, to where I had an idea from what it would be like when I got here. And then I also asked guys who played for the Bears and, had great things to say. So I was excited to be a part of helping in any way possible.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
We're going to start right away with some questions, and we'll get into it. Media, if you have a question, please press the raise hand button. And please also direct your question to either Kelvin or Ryan, and we can go from there. Our first question this afternoon will come from Bill Thompson from the Chicago Tribune. Phil, your line's active and you can go ahead.
This is for Calvin. Calvin, I just want to get a sense of how you're feeling after camp and, being in Edmonton and your comfort level again with Connor.
Feel good. Obviously I missed a week during camp, but other than that, I think the coaches and the staff did a good job getting me back into game shape and things like that. It's going to be a tough series. I think it's anyone's game at this point. There's not going to be 20,000 Oiler fans screaming and boosting their play and keeping those guys going. So I think the neutral sites could be key for us. But I'm looking forward to the series, and I feel good out there.
Our next question will come from John Dietz from the Daily Herald. John, your line's active and you can go ahead.
Hey guys, I guess Ryan, I'll ask you this one. Both of you guys have been on long playoff runs, so Calvin, if you want to jump in, feel free as well. But if you had to think there's one big key to getting past Edmonton, obviously other than scoring more goals than them, obviously, what's the number one thing to you guys that it's going to take for you guys to advance out of this round?
I think we try to focus a lot on ourselves and the things we need to do to be successful. I think everyone knows it's no brainer. Edmonton's one of the fastest teams in the league. And so I think neutralizing their speed, I think we can play fast too. I think we have some speed up front. and can play fast as a team as well. But I think one of the ways you kind of neutralize that is making them play a 200-foot game. They're really quick off the transition. They score a lot of goals off the rush. And so to just, if there's a play to be made at the blue line, make it. But if they have numbers, just making a smart play and making them go 200 feet.
Our next question will come from Mark Lazarus from The Athletic. Oh, looks like we lost Mark. So we'll go to Ben Pope from the Chicago Sun-Times. Ben, your line is active and you can go ahead.
Hey guys, this is for Ryan. Certainly we've talked about the penalty kill a lot in this matchup. You guys had another solid outing on Wednesday against the Blues. Just how confident is the penalty kill going into this series?
Yeah, we were trying to build confidence throughout camp. I think you lose all the momentum you had, which is with how everything that happened in the long break we had. And so I know our power play's been working hard, and we feel like the guys we go against in practice make us better. And then, yeah, I mean, it was a tune-up against St. Louis. We think they had a good power play too. So that was just another chance to build confidence. But yeah, it was only one game and an exhibition game, and so we're trying to not stay too high. And there's different keys playing against Edmonton with their guys and their top unit. But yeah, we're trying to carry that confidence over to into this series.
Our next question is from Charlie Remeliotis from NBC Sports Chicago. Charlie, your line is active. You can go ahead.
Hey, Ryan. I'm sure Edmonton is probably going to exploit those matchups, especially being the home team and having last change. Have you had conversations with your line mates on how specifically you guys might want to defend McDavid or Draisaitl if you're paired against them?
Nothing too specific. I think as a team we've prepared. Yeah, it's something that comes into playoffs when you're not the home team. Sometimes you can't dictate who you're out there against. But yeah, I mean, if we're out there against one of those top two lines, we just got to play the same way. Play as a fourth line. We try to play a simple game. Try to play a hard game. Try to play a game that brings momentum and energy to the team, whether we're producing or not. And so that doesn't change if we're playing the fourth line or the first line. We're going to try to keep the mentality. Obviously, you just got to be aware of those guys on the ice. You're trying to slow them down as much as you can and be responsible with the puck and not get stuck out there too long with them.
We'll now go to Chris Bowden from WGN Radio. Chris, your line's active. You can go ahead.
Hey, Calvin. Both of you guys, thanks for doing this. But Calvin, I know it's just been a few practices and the one game, but how do you feel you and Connor complement each other on that particular defensive pairing?
Well, we played fine the other night. You know, he's been in and out of practices the past few weeks as well. But I think we're both talented enough and smart enough to be able to play with whoever in the lineup. But you know, I think Murph's an easy guy to play with. You know, he's a simple player out there, but he seems to make the right play 9 times out of 10. And he's you know, it's pretty easy to play with a guy like that. He's physical too. It's fun, you know, you know, it's fun watching him run around a little bit and try and blow guys up. And, you know, that's still an important part of the game. But, you know, he's a solid player, and I'm going to do my best to, you know, to complement him and try and be a top pairing on this team.
Our next question is from Scott King from NBC Sports Chicago. Scott, your line's active. Go ahead.
This is for Calvin. It sounds like things had kind of been kind of fun and loose in the bubble. You could walk around and see guys from other teams. Guys would be playing two-touch and video games. Are things a little more serious today? Is it a little more quiet maybe?
Yeah, I guess. I think it's a little weird seeing all the other teams around, to be honest. But, you know, it's fun to catch up with the guys who we've played with in the past. You know, maybe friends and whatever, guys you skate with in the summer or train with. But it's, you know, I think tomorrow is I think the atmosphere is going to change around here a little bit once the play-in games and the playoffs really start. I think it's the intensity is going to climb up a little bit, and I think it's going to be all business at that standpoint, and I think it'll be fun. You know, we're here. We're going to do our best to try and win a Stanley Cup.
Our next question is from Carter Baum from Blackhawks.com. Carter, go ahead.
This one's for Ryan. You were part of a team a few years ago that maybe shocked a lot of people, went all the way to the Stanley Cup final in the playoffs. Do you get a similar sense from this group of guys that maybe that the mentality's there, the right pieces are there to maybe string together a run here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even having a guy like Cal back in the lineup is a huge boost for us. I think we have a good balance of veterans that have won before, guys that have been in these kind of games, and young guys with fresh legs and a lot of skill and a lot of talent. So yeah, it's different. I mean, having that long season going into playoff is like a marathon, but right now, just having one exhibition game in the short camp, it feels like a sprint. So kind of really feels like of all the playoffs, it's really anyone's game. And we know being the bottom seed, we have a chip on our shoulder. We're going to come out here and work hard and focus on our game and give ourselves the best chance tomorrow.
Our next question is from Chris Bowden from WGN Radio. Chris, your line's active. Go ahead.
Hey, Ryan, I just wanted to ask you, 2 weeks here in Chicago training camp after, sitting around for 3 months waiting to see what would happen. So 2 weeks here in Chicago, another week out there, one game under your belt. I just want to know if you can compare the readiness to start a season now in this kind of altered circumstance compared to what you're usually going through in a usual training camp.
Yeah, it seems like you're easing into it a lot more. Training camp, there's usually a lot more bodies too. Even those first couple games in training camp seems like it's never really a full squad. So, I mean, it was our full team against the Blues full team. And so we were talking about that after. That felt a little bit different just to have a full NHL team put together out there. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be different. Every team is in the same circumstance. And so details and the sharpness that maybe carries over from playing 82 games and going straight into the playoffs may not quite be there, but we're going to do our best to make sure it's there. And maybe that means just simplifying our game early and getting into a good rhythm.
Calvin and Ryan, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Media, if you want to hold the line, and we will have Jeremy Colleton join us in the next couple minutes. If you have a question for Jeremy Colleton, please press the raise hand button. Thank you.
TheRewindSports60.com. TheRewindSports60.com. Relax, reset, rejuvenate. Go to a link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60. TheRewindSports60.com.
The Rewind Sports 60. From the city of big shoulders, the jewel of the Midwest, comes a sports show that's one of a kind. From iconic players to iconic stadiums to iconic teams, this is my kind of town. Chicago! And the Rewind Sports 60 is my kind of show. From Air Jordan to sweetness to Papa Bear Hallis, this city works hard but plays even harder. Dan Carlino and Jerry Riles bring you the Rewind Sports 60. Live. The Rewind Sports 60 starts now.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. We're broadcasting live, streaming live from the world's famous Chicago Auto Show in the greatest city in the world. That, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Chicago, Illinois. I'm your host, Jerry Riles, and let's get right to it. Ladies and gentlemen, you love him. He's down on Michigan Avenue. He's in Wheeling. He's at Cirinello's. He's around the corner. He's here. He's there. He's at the auto show. He's at the McCormick place. He's the man. He's the man on the street. He's Marty B. What's up, Marty?
Good morning, or I'm sorry, good afternoon. I'm getting my times mixed up. It's great to be here at the auto show, Jerry.
Marty, this is fantastic. It's an outstanding event that happens yearly here in Chicago. This is the 111th show here in the greatest city in the world, Chicago, Illinois. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we know about the mailman. Rain, sleet, or snow, you can't stop them. The folks here in Chicago, the city of Chicago, no matter what the weather, no matter what the temperature, it could be 45 degrees one day, it could be 20 below the next day. Snow, sleet, rain, Chicagoans will come out and support this fantastic event, Marty B. It's incredible.
It is. It's been several years since I've been here, so I was quite excited about coming down this afternoon.
Well, you know what? It's an exciting time. It's been a few years since I've been down here, and let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you say it doesn't get any better than this? It continues to get better and better every single year. And folks, we're pleased to be joining our first guests on the Rewind Sports 60 here at the Auto Show. We're joined by the president and Chicago Auto Show General Manager, Mr. Dave Sloan. Dave, how are you?
Thanks for having me, Jerry.
You know what, Dave? Thank you so very much for having us here. Again, it's a fantastic event, and we appreciate being a part of it. We just have to pick your brain and get to you to find out, what does it take to put on something like this? This is phenomenal.
Yeah, well, it's a year-long endeavor, and obviously there's a lot of people involved. And it's one of those things where if you just get out of the way, it'll happen on its own, because there's so much inertia behind this show, so many players who know how to get things done. The automakers are so good at creating this display. The labor down here at McCormick Place is so good, taking a bare floor just a couple of weeks ago and turning it into this amazing show. So they do a wonderful job for us. All the different labor unions that are represented here, but also the exhibit houses and our contractor, GES.
You know what? They do a fantastic job here, and since the improvement, the rebuild, the renovation of McCormick Place with the North Hall, the South Hall, the main hall, the three sections that they have, they've done an incredible job. And you mentioned the unions. I'm glad that you mentioned the union workers here in Chicago, because they put together a lot of hard, long hours to pull something like this off, and they take a lot of pride in their work.
You're absolutely right. That's why they love this show, because they can show it off to their friends. You know, so many of the shows down here at McCormick Place are trade shows for out-of-town visitors, and this is the one where Chicagoans enjoy. And you know, that's the other thing you mentioned, McCormick Place. People are surprised. We're here in 1 million square feet. There's another 1.7 million square feet that's
dealers, the vehicles that are here. If people want to come down, I know neighbors of mine, last year they attended the event, and after attending, they ended up buying 2 vehicles just for the simple fact that they were able to experiment, get a look at some of the vehicles here. Talk about some of the manufacturers and car companies that are here showcasing.
So yeah, the manufacturers are here displaying their cars, and obviously we're a dealer association, so we represent all the franchise dealers in Chicago. But the automakers love this show, and they come out in a big way. Many of these displays, the biggest displays that these automakers make anywhere. FCA, what you think of as Chrysler now, with Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Fiat. They are in Chrysler minivans. They're in over 100,000 square feet with 2 test tracks, the Ram test track and then the Jeep indoor off-road course.
Okay. You mentioned at the start of the interview, and we're on with the general manager and president of the Chicago Auto Show, Dave Sloan. You mentioned about the workforce and everything that goes into it, and you also mentioned the fact that in order to make this auto show, which is the 111th, 2019 here, to run efficiently, is you kind of like step back and let people do what they do. When you, after overseeing that and seeing the success that you've had another year in, How do you prepare for the next year? What type of changes do you look to make?
So we're always looking to make improvements, and we're always encouraging the manufacturers to make improvements. And we love these indoor test tracks. We've got 4 this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it really puts the show on wheels. We have 6 outdoor test drive experiences that different manufacturers are doing. So we love the fact that we can take this big crowd and get them in the vehicles, to get butts in seats, we like to call it.
Of course.
And you see the Kia Telluride test track. Kia tried a test track for the first time last year and enhanced their test track quite a bit this year. If you look down and see all the beautiful landscaping that they put down, and really made and a wall of LED wall behind that shows a waterfall. It's incredible. And then Jaguar Land Rover in the back of the South Hall have about a almost 50,000 square foot track. All brought in truckloads and truckloads of dirt to make a 16-foot hill, show what all the Land Rovers can do in an off-road course. It's incredible.
That's fantastic, and the picture that you painted and describing it is phenomenal. Marty B, we definitely have to get over there and check it out.
Well, before we leave tonight, we're going to definitely make the Cook's Tour. You know, I enjoy every year the wonderful job that ABC does, Dave, giving a capsule review of everything the first night of the auto show. And I particularly enjoyed one interview with one young lady when she said, you know, when I come to this show, I see a car that I need to buy, and then I also see several I wish I could buy.
Yeah. So you mentioned the people your friends who bought a car. 70% of the adults that come to this show are in the market in the following 12 months, and that's why the automakers are here in such a big way. And 36% of the people who come down add a vehicle to their consideration list. So it's really important for the automakers to be here.
No, it's certainly and I have to correct you on that. They attended last year.
Yeah.
They bought 2 cars. They were that impressed with the selection of vehicles that were here that they actually ended up purchasing 2 cars after the auto show.
Well, that's the other thing. People say, why are you in February? Why February in Chicago? It's tough. Well, look we've got 1 million square feet. It's 72 degrees and sunny in here, right? And
it is.
the trees in the Kia display will be blooming by the end of the week. But it's a great time. There's not a whole lot else going on in Chicago, and the media really support us because they know if they kick off this spring selling season the right way, the way advertising funds are generated, they'll get paid back all year long.
Yeah.
And so there's not just the ABC program, but there's 5 TV specials that are produced from the floor of this show. Telemundo does 2 of them, and CBS does 1, and WGN does another.
Yeah. It's and we are pleased and really thankful and grateful that we have the opportunity to be on the show or be on the floor as well and attend the auto show because it is a part of Chicago. You guys do a fantastic job. And the important thing is to get the message out, to get the word out and touch as many people as you possibly can.
And you know what's special this year? At first when I reviewed the dates, I said, the 18th? Now that's a Monday. But how appropriate. With tomorrow being President's Weekend, what a great way to spend the day with the family. And it's Family Day here tomorrow, folks, from 10 a.m. to 5.
There you go. There you go.
And, you know, in past years when I would attend an auto show, you always saw fabulous automobiles. But now there are so many other ingredients that make this show a blockbuster.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And one thing I do want to touch on, and Dave, we appreciate you being on board with us with this. I want to ask you about the charitable contributions. Charity, what's going on? How's that over the past few days? How's that worked out?
There's a lot of charity going on the show floor, and it really exemplifies dealers, new car dealers, and their place in their communities. Dealers do so much in so many communities around Chicago, and the culmination of that is First Look for Charity, the black tie preview of the Chicago Auto Show. And so the night before the show opens to the public, we've got 10,000 people here. They pay $275 a ticket. We raise $3 million for 18 charities because the charities have other parties that they raise money, and all together we raise $3 million for these 18 charities. We've got a food drive. We gathered 10 tons of food. We've got a blood drive on the show floor that you wouldn't think someone would roll up their sleeve and give a pint of blood, but I did the other day, and it's Chicago's largest blood drive, believe it or not.
Wow.
Excuse me, Jerry. And I'm bringing 2 youngsters tomorrow. If the blood drive booth is open, I'll be contributing.
Great.
There you go, Marty.
Absolutely.
Always giving.
I haven't participated in a blood drive in a couple of years, so I think I'm due.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, Dave, again, thank you. And I just have to let you know our slogan here at the Rewind Sports 60, real sports, real talk, just plain real. And I want to thank you for being real about the Chicago Auto Show here at McCormick Place in the greatest city in the world, Chicago, Illinois. Number 111, which is unbelievable. Now, you said it hasn't been consistently for 111 years. Why not?
Well, the show started in 1901, so that's, 118 years ago. But it's 111th because during World War II, there were no auto shows, there were no cars being produced because the entire auto industry went and turned into making war materials. Tanks and jeeps
sure.
and airplanes, and so there weren't cars made for all of World War II, and then the demand was so great they didn't even need auto shows, and ours was the first one to get started after 1950.
Wow, that's only in Chicago, Marty B. Dave, thank you so very much again for coming out. We appreciate you.
What a pleasure,
Folks,
Dave.
Keep it locked in. This is the Rewind Sports 60, streaming live on YouTube Live. Check us out on Facebook. And, of course, if you miss any portion of the broadcast, we're on Comcast every Wednesday, 7 p.m. in the northern suburbs, Lake and Cook County. Keep it locked in. The best is yet to come, Marty B., the man on the street, broadcasting from the 2019 Chicago Auto Show here at McCormick Place. We get things kicked off. The general manager, president of the Chicago Auto Show here, Dave Stone. Folks, take it away. Have a great one. We'll come right back with more conversation from the Auto Show.
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout. So don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in.
Now is the moment that we've all been waiting for, the presentation of the 2019 Driving Influence Award. Hopefully you guys didn't see that. Okay, so the judging requirements included campaigns that centered around an influencer or influencers, campaigns that leveraged influencers' social channels and audiences to promote an automotive product or service, and the campaign needed to demonstrate measurable results. The judging criteria also included strategy, creativity and innovation, and strong evidence of results, either brand awareness, engagement, or sales lift. And we actually have one of our judges for the award here in the audience today, Ashley Dudzik with Morningstar, who's also co-chair of ANA's Chicago-based Influencer Marketing Committee. As runner-up of the 2019 Driving Influence Award, let's have a round of applause for Acura for their Look Up campaign. And now, I'm proud to announce the 2019 Driving Influence First Place Award to Hyundai for the launch of their 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. Victoria, please join me on stage to accept the award.
This is actually my first time at the Chicago Auto Show. As I mentioned in my speech earlier, I've only been with Hyundai for about a year now, and winning this award at the Chicago Auto Show is actually very surprising, but really awesome at the same time. We were not expecting it. So it's going to be great for our team. I'm going to be able to ask for more budget and prove that influencers really do help boost the brand.
So,
If it's Chicago sports you want, you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago. Welcome back to the Rewind Sports 60, streaming live, broadcasting live from the world's famous, I want to say Serenello's restaurant there at Daliano, but ladies and gentlemen, no, we're in Chicago, the greatest city in the world, McCormick Place, at the 2019 Chicago Auto Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this place is fantastic. Jerry Riles along with the man on the street, Marty B. And we're pleased to be joined by Senior Director of Communications here at the Chicago Auto Show, Mark Bielik. Mark, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very, very good. Thanks for having me.
You know what? Thank you so very much for having us. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of what we're doing here. But we got to pick your brain, man. We got to pick your brain. This is something that's phenomenal. Dave Sloan, the general manager and president, was on earlier with us and explained how all this is put together, unfolds, and the reaction of the fans and the people here in Chicago, how they react to it. You're the communications director. What is your role here, man, to make sure all this stuff flows?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Chicago Auto Show, we're blessed. We have a 90+% awareness rate in the market. So thanks to you guys and other media outlets, people really know the shows in town, but they always want to know, hey, what's new this year? What's going on? What's special? What's different? And part of my job is to create a compelling media preview, which is the 2 days that lead up to the show. And so what we do is we get all the manufacturers to come in and bring their brand new vehicles and launch vehicles here at the show. This year, we had more than 20 vehicles launched at the Chicago Auto Show. 20 vehicles that no one had ever seen before appeared here in Chicago for the first time. We had the all-new Land Rover Range Rover Evoque, which is their smallest SUV, the all-new Subaru Legacy, as well as the Volkswagen Jetta GLI. We had a host of vehicles from Toyota. Kia had vehicles. That's what it's all about, is creating buzz, and vehicles that nobody's ever seen is what creates that buzz. I mean, when you think about it, there's more than 20 vehicles on this show floor, whether they're production or pre-production, that nobody has been able to see at a dealership. Nobody's been able to test drive. The only place to see them is right here in Chicago.
That's phenomenal. 20 vehicles, Marty B. It's unbelievable that no one's ever seen before. I'm assuming that this has happened before in the past, where you've been introducing new vehicles that have never been seen before. Based on that of the past, do you have any statistics or numbers that show that once these vehicles have been seen and maybe sat in by some of these folks here, that they say, hey, 26% of the people that attend the car show went out and purchased those vehicles?
Yeah, that's a great question. More than 60% of the people that are here right now, you can see behind me,
yes,
they're in market. So that means they're going to buy a car within the next year. So they're shopping. And that's what's really unique about Chicago, is we have such a big space, 1 million square feet. You can have multiple versions of the same car. So there's 4 or 5 Accords behind me. You've you got the base trim level, the hybrid, the luxury trim level. So people can not only shop brand for brand, but they can shop within a brand to find out the exact vehicle they want. And there's no pressure. It's a non-selling show. Nobody can buy a car here on the show floor. And so they just say, hey, if I want more information, I'll give you my email address, send it to me. Connect me with a dealer and help make that deal happen. And that's really what makes Chicago unique from any other show in the country. There's some other big shows, in LA has a great show, New York has a great show, but they don't have McCormick Place.
Right.
They don't have 1 million square feet. They don't have 4 indoor test tracks. They don't have 6 outdoor test drives. And so that's what really makes Chicago hum. And we're the nation's consumer show, and we love it. It's a family tradition, but it's also a place to shop.
That's phenomenal, Marty B.
And this show consumes over 1 million square feet. Isn't it amazing?
It certainly is. It definitely is. And it's interesting because, again, and I mentioned to Dave in our opening segment that my neighbors attended last year, and they walked after walking through here and seeing all the many selections, they decided within a matter of 2 to 3 months to purchase 2 vehicles based on what they saw here at the Chicago Auto Show here, which is phenomenal. It really is. I'm guessing that's part of what, that's part of why it's put on here. How many years have you been doing this as a senior director?
I came on in 2006. My first show was 2007. So I'm looking at almost 15 shows now. But before that, I was an automotive journalist. And so I was covering auto shows all across the country. And Chicago was always my favorite for the reason that it was so big and so spread out that you could do things in Chicago from a media standpoint that you couldn't do in other shows because the exhibits weren't as big. There wasn't as much space. The pace of the press events was too compressed. So when I came here, and part of my role was to create that media preview, I made sure that it was reporter friendly and media friendly so that they could get what they needed to get to push out through their outlet, whether they're automotive enthusiasts or whether they're talk shows or whether they're entertainment bloggers. It didn't matter. But we wanted to make Chicago be the place where they could get done what they needed to get done.
You know what, Mark? What would you say? And I don't want to have favorites or anything like that because everyone has a particular brand or model of car that they like. But what seems to be the one maker that kind of stands out? When I was a kid growing up, I lived on the south side over there in the Beverly area, and my dad would always purchase his vehicle from shameless plug, Hawkinson Ford over there on 95th Street. And so, I know a lot of Chicagoans, a lot of people liked Ford back in the day. 2019, I'm sure things have changed considerably as far as cars. What seems to be one of the brands and the makers that seem to stand out a little bit more so than others?
Well, Subaru is definitely a brand on the rise right now. I mean, we're looking at like 3 straight years of record sales for Subaru. And so they really have found that sweet spot in the marketplace where they're connecting with consumers, not only with great product, but on an emotional level. And that's part of the whole process of buying a car. It's got to be a car you like. I mean, every car today, don't fool yourself. Every car today is a good vehicle. They don't build clunkers anymore. They can't get away with it. You just can't sell a car that's not going to last. And so from a manufacturing standpoint, you want to connect emotionally as well. And so Subaru is rocking the house, but my personal favorite here on the mainstream level, the volume model, is Volkswagen. I love the way they drive. I love the way they're refined. But then also my personal favorite car was introduced here just a week ago, the Volkswagen Jetta GLI, which is the sport version of the Jetta. It's the first car I owned. And so it's near and dear to my heart. But if I had unlimited coin, I think I'd be heading over to Volvo. I just love the understated styling, the elegance, and then the technology that they bundle together in their products. Volvo really is hitting it right now with consumers and selling very, very well. And you got to remember, just a few years ago, the brand almost went bankrupt. They were bought out by a Chinese car company, Geely, and they infused a ton of money into the brand, but they didn't mess with the manufacturing, they didn't mess with the production or the design, and so it stayed a very Swedish, a very European brand, but they had the cash and the capital to begin to build quality products that people want.
Sure, that's phenomenal. It's a great car, and I'm kind of fond of you now because you know what? I never got it, but the first car that I wanted to get was a Jetta.
There you go.
Because those cars back then were, I haven't driven one, but back then they were pretty cool cars.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get. Part of my job also is to run Drive Chicago, which is a car shopping website here in Chicagoland.
Okay.
And so I drive cars every week and review cars every week, and I can't wait to get that Jetta GLI because I like the new Jetta. It's a good car, but it's a little vanilla for me.
Okay.
And I think the Jetta is going to be the GLI is going to be a little bit more sporty, a little bit more fun.
Mark, before we let you go, Marty B?
You know, I used to listen to the Drive Chicago program every Saturday morning. Is that still on?
Yeah, so we're on every Saturday at 8 a.m. on WLS. We talk cars. I'm the expert on there. We've also got an enthusiast that I work with, Jim O'Brill, and then Jennifer Kuiper's the host of the show, and she kind of balances everything out and keeps us from talking for hours because Jim and I could just go on and on and on talking about cars together. But so that's all part of what we do at the CATA. That's the producers of the show. We have ChicagoAutoShow.com, which is obviously everything you ever need to get out of the auto show, but at the same time, it has a deep history, 111 years of history. We have photos from every show. Some shows we have dozens and dozens of photos, so people can look back and they can remember the shows they saw and all that stuff. It's very, very cool. But then also we have a listing of every car that's on the show floor. So if you came to the show and you remember, you walked around, you saw hundreds of cars, right? There's almost 1,000 cars here, but you saw that car and you can't remember what it is. You can go back to the website and you can see all the cars that were, for example, in the Hyundai display. And you can say, oh yeah, that Hyundai Nexo, that was pretty cool. That's a fuel cell vehicle, right? And then you can read about it. So it's not just about getting people here to the show, but it's connecting them with cars and helping them make educated choices when they go to the dealership.
Sounds good. Real quick before we go, we talk about a lot of power, not only in the vehicles that are here at the Chicago Auto Show, but just the simple fact that we're broadcasting here. ABC7 has been here. Telemundo has been here. How do you make all that happen flawlessly?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Key to that is two things. One, our general contractor, GES, they do a lot of shows all across the country, and they do our show for us, and they're basically our arms and legs here at the show.
Okay.
We help them, but then also are the workers here at McCormick Place. I'll tell you the coolest thing that I see every year. I walk out of the show here on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, Wednesday night, and I look at the show floor, and I'm like, man, it's not going to happen on Thursday morning for the media preview. No way. There's no carpet, no aisle carpet. There's boxes everywhere. The lights aren't aimed. And I come back in at 5:30 in the morning on Thursday morning, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to the working crew that's here. You always hear, Chicago's a hard place to do business, and it could be maybe. But here at McCormick Place, they make it easy, and there's no way we could do it. I mean, we're a staff of 10.
Sure.
We could never get it done without them.
Sure. You know what? Chicago is the city that works. It's a blue-collar town. We roll up our sleeves, and we get the job done, and that's the beauty of this city. And there's no question in my mind why we are the #1 auto show, not only in the country, but I believe in the entire world. I don't know, but it seems like this is the #1 auto show out of Chicago, McCormick Place, because of the workers and because of people like you. Oh, exactly.
This is a great facility here. But I think you're right. We're every year. There's some shows in the other parts of the country that are maybe bigger than us, but they're not every year. So if you look at our show every year, what we produce here in McCormick Place,
sure,
from both a news standpoint, from a consumer standpoint, and then from just an entertainment standpoint,
yep.
I have to agree with you that we're right up there.
We're #1. We're the best. You think Jordan won 6 titles back in the 90s? Here come the Chicago Auto Show. Mark, thank you so very much for being a part of the Rewind Sports 60.
And Mark, thank you so much for giving us a real good overview on the different brands and models it makes. Sure. And one thing I want to mention, too, about the Drive Chicago show is that you cover some very pertinent maintenance issues on that show.
There you go.
That's key. So, Jerry, pay attention to the show.
I better believe you. I will be paying attention. Mark, thank you so very much. Marty B, the man on the street. Folks, don't touch that smartphone. Don't touch that iPad. Don't touch the Samsung. Don't touch that PC, the MacBook Pro. Don't touch any of those devices. The Rewind Sports 60, broadcasting live from the world's famous Chicago Auto Show 2019. There's more in store coming up right after this short timeout.
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout, so don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in. If it's Chicago sports you want, you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago. The camera is... Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something, folks. Hey, real sports, real talk, just plain real. Whenever we go to commercial break, you guys are going, you're sitting on your couch, and we appreciate you being a part. We appreciate you taking time out to watch the Rewind Sports 60. But when we're in commercial break and you guys are, getting off the couch, you're running to the fridge to wet your whistle, you got to go to, take care of business or whatever, you get some more tips. We're making things happen. We're working. We're keeping things going, ladies and gentlemen. So whatever you see is what you get. I'm Jerry Riles. We're streaming live broadcasting from the world's famous Chicago Auto Show 2019, the 111th running of the Chicago Auto Show from McCormick Place. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, I love the fact that as Chicagoans, we support each other, we support businesses, we support manufacturing, we support Chicago. And you guys, you girls, you've braved the storm, you've braved the weather, you've braved the snow, and you've come out in droves, every single year, this year in particular, to attend the Chicago Auto Show. And it's definitely commendable, and I hope that many of you who are in the market for a vehicle, I hope you guys can find your vehicle here, ladies and gentlemen. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, along with the man on the street. He's not on the street, he's at McCormick Place. He's Marty B. What's up, Marty B?
And I'm delighted to be here, Jerry.
Definitely, man. I tell you, this is a fabulous place. I haven't been here in years, but my good dear friend, late friend, may he rest in peace, Clifford Thomas, he would always call me every single year and say, Jerry, G, it's you to call me. We got to go to the auto show. I go, again? Hey, we got to get out there, and we'd come. It's been a few years since I've been here, but I'm certainly glad that we've come on down. And ladies and gentlemen, Marty B., the hits just keep coming. We're pleased to be joined by Jennifer Moran. She is the Director of Public Relations and Social Media here at the Chicago Auto Show. Jennifer, how are you?
Great, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
No, thank you so very much for coming on out. And I know your hands have been really, really full. This is a jam-packed event, and it takes a lot of preparation to make all this stuff happen and make it flow. From your perspective, your role, what are you responsible for?
Yeah, so the public relations and social media for the show is really making sure that fans are having a great time when they're out here engaging with them, and we want to hear from them. So we are soliciting their feedback on social media to see what gets them buzzing and see what's exciting. Obviously, we have 20 new debuts at the show. Right. We have plenty of concept vehicles. We have indoor test tracks. We have so many things that get people talking. So we want to hear from our fans to see what makes them excited. So a lot rose to the top. The Subaru Legacy was #1 trending on Twitter. Just behind that was a Toyota Tacoma. So people are talking and we're listening. So yes.
And that's very good. And you have to listen. I couldn't help but notice, Roman, if you can get behind my shot, the Buzz Hub, powered by Drive Chicago, the Buzz Hub. How early does the buzz start for the upcoming Chicago Auto Show? Because again, there are a lot of people looking forward to it. I've shared with Dave and Mark, who were on earlier, that neighbors of mine came last year. They ended up buying 2 cars, not 1, 2 cars. How early does the buzz start as far as the interest here in Chicago for the auto show?
Well, I don't know if you believe me if I tell you that it's actually year-round, because people love to connect with the show and they're just excited to talk about a vehicle maybe they've purchased at the show, or they're tweeting us or messaging us information about the upcoming show. And our social media channels are actually live all year round. We don't stop posting when the show's over. Some shows go dark, but we continue to connect with the fans, because who doesn't want to talk about cars year-round, right?
Wow. I mean, that I didn't even know that, Marty B, because you're right. When you put on a show like this, there's other shows that we've been a part of, and, the National Restaurant Association, they're here every year. They may take a couple days off to regroup after they've concluded, and then they're back up and running and getting prepared for the upcoming year. But you guys just continue to roll. What is the response after, as far as, because you obviously social media,
sure,
you want to get people coming out, you want to get them pumped up, and you want to get them to come see the latest. Right. What is the buzz afterwards that you social media wise you have to focus on? Is there anything in particular that you try to push, or what?
Yeah, well, actually, we have a best of show voting here at the Chicago Auto Show, so people who are at the show can vote for what they feel is best of show. So after the show, we report on that, and to see what people decide and what rose to the in terms of the vehicles. But also, I mean, we continue to talk about vehicles. So say they were debuted at the auto show. So maybe when that vehicle then hits the dealership lots, we'll remind fans that, great, you know, the new Subaru Legacy is now out at your dealer. You can go test drive it if you're looking to buy or lease the vehicle. So there's really ways to interact with fans year round that's not just around an event, but this event is kind of a launching pad for us to go into the next year.
Jennifer Moran, she's public relations and social media here at the Chicago Auto Show. Let me ask you, it's just you, me, and Marty B. Don't worry about them people. Don't worry about these people out here either. Just us. Are there any particular like dealers or makers of vehicles that? Hey, Jennifer, come on. Forget about the Ford. Forget about the Chevy. It's the Subaru. Come on now. No?
Well, there's always friendly competition. You know, you're always going to see that. And among our board and our dealers, it really is just that friendly competition. But that's what drives your success. The displays you see here on the show floor, they're top notch. They're class act exhibits. So that just spurs a little bit more of, you know, the next exhibitor over saying, well, you know what, next year I think we're going to have this giant video wall, or next year we should really think about that social media activation. So I think that competition actually produces a better show overall. So we think it's healthy.
Jennifer, could you elaborate a little bit on some of the thought that went into some of the other activities that are just abound with this show?
Absolutely. All the manufacturers offer, beyond just the cars and their display, various activities. We have virtual reality simulators. We have, you saw the scramble nets in Ford. There's kids running actually over the show floor in these nets. I mean, there is so much to do and to see at the auto show. And really the idea with this is to get people to stay in the exhibits longer. The manufacturers want to keep them in their displays longer than the next one. So they try to think of ways to bring people in and to lure them in. But from the show's perspective, we produce all sorts of different contests. Our Buzz Hub, as he mentioned, is right behind us. We have a social squad that's out there throughout the day. They're wearing their shirts. They have these big Instagram frames. So it's really exciting because they get fans excited. And all they have to do is show us a social media post on their phone that uses a hashtag, and they get these great prizes. We have T-shirts, we have other bags, and other fun swag that we're handing out.
That is incredible. It's just so different from years past. It has just gone to a whole different level.
Yeah, and I think that's a really great thing about social media is we're able to connect with our fans. And, you know, as show management before social media, you can't really get that feedback from them unless you received an email, of course, or a piece of mail. But now with social media, the feedback is instant. So we're really responding to our fans. We've had a lot of questions on Facebook and Twitter, and we're constantly monitoring those channels to make sure that we're giving our fans a prompt response and inform them as well.
And you have done that incredibly well. I can't wait to come back tomorrow and really watch the show and bring some kids around. And I'm going to be like a little kid tomorrow.
That's great. Well, that's perfect. It is our family day tomorrow.
Yeah,
so what a great day to come out.
Oh, it's so terrific that President's Day ended the Monday after the usual close of your show.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we're really excited because Family Day gives us a whole nother opportunity to invite people down, especially when most of the kids have off of school tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, it couldn't have happened in a better way. And just remember, though, everybody, the show opens at 10 a.m. but does close at 5. So don't come down at 1 or 2 and expect to have a full day because you need every minute.
That's right. We do close at 8 p.m. tomorrow. So
8 p.m.?
Oh, they extended it for 3 more hours, Marty.
Yeah. See, the sheet I saw said, thank you, Jennifer.
Of course. Yeah, no, we're 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day except for the last day, which is 8 p.m.
And that is open till 8. Well, wonderful. Gives me 3 more hours to really browse around.
There you go. How long does it take for someone, and we're on with Jennifer Moran, she's the Director of Public Relations and Social Media here at the Auto Show in Chicago. Literally, if someone wanted to just walk I'm sure there are people that want to walk. How long do you think? It's got to take a couple of days at least to see everything here.
Absolutely. There's 1 million square feet of exhibit space, and that is just exhibit space. That does not count your steps walking to the show. So we stress to people who are coming out to wear those comfortable shoes. There's nearly 1,000 cars, trucks, SUVs on display here, so there's lots to see.
Jennifer, before we let you go, and we appreciate you taking some time to join us, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our viewing and listening audience that they may benefit from in the future from attending the Chicago Auto Show?
I would just say connect with us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. We're on it all. If you follow us throughout the year, you'll get updates. And of course, some inside information. We like to give our fans some incentives for following us and engaging with us. We give away free tickets and other fun items throughout the year. So I would definitely recommend that.
Well, the Rewind Sports 60 will be following you, and Marty B and I can certainly attest to this, that we're all good for freebies and stuff. Our motto is, if it's free, it's me, right? So we're gonna be looking for some of that stuff, particularly next year for the black tie affair, right?
Jerry, let's make plans now to attend that affair. We need to be there. We need to come and have a great time and be supportive of all your charitable endeavors, and you do a splendid job with that. I was never fully aware of how that has come about, and you've attained a magnificent level of wonderful contribution.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate that feedback. Yeah, First Look for Charity is one of our signature events, and we'll continue that for a long time.
I know you will, and it's only going to get better. And the next time Jerry and I are in Oak Brook, we're going to stop in and have a cup of coffee.
There you go. Jennifer, thank you so very much again for joining us. We appreciate it. Keep up the fantastic work, and we certainly will follow you. Jennifer Moran, Director of Public Relations and Social Media for the 2019 Chicago Auto Show. Folks, when we come back, Marty B, the man on the street, yours truly, Jerry Riles, and a cast of characters here at the Chicago Auto Show. Say hello, everybody. Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, come on down. You still got one more day to come on down and have yourself some fun. We're going to get into some sports conversation, that's for sure. If you miss any portion of the Rewind Sports 60, of course, we're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. We're on Comcast Access every Wednesday, 7 p.m. in the northern suburbs. So check us out on our website, the rewindsports60.com, THE rewindsports60.com. Come on back, talk some sports with yours truly, Jerry Riles, Marty B. This is The Rewind, broadcasting from Chicago Auto Show here in Chicago at McCormick Place.
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout, so don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in. Sports you want, you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles. We're broadcasting live, streaming live from the world's famous Chicago Auto Show 2019 style here at McCormick Place. One more day to go, so if you haven't gone down here, if you haven't made it down here, get on the bus, free transportation, take a bike. I know there's snow outside. Whatever you have to do, take a Uber, take a Lyft. Get on down here to the Chicago Auto Show. There's a lot in store, and I guarantee you, you will not walk away unhappy. you will be pleased with the selection, the many, many selections here at the Chicago Auto Show. Yours truly, Jerry Riles, along with the man on the street, Marty B. And Marty, we have some friends here.
Yes, we do. Some very young, very attractive people, students, and this gentleman that is right standing next to me, Mike, he is a student at Morgan Park, and we were just talking a little bit about his wonderful basketball team. We talk about it with regularity on our sports show, but would you like to make a comment about the Morgan Park team?
No.
Okay.
So Morgan Park. So we got Mike, Matt,
Mathis,
Kaylee.
and
Kaylee. You guys are fantastic. So what are your thoughts about and we appreciate you stopping by to say hello to us here on the Rewind Sports 60. But tell me, what is your reaction? What is your thoughts and feelings about this fabulous auto show here at the McCormick Place?
Well, I had a fantastic time. I love the kiosks. They had a nice cars, and it was very fun. I took a lot of pictures, you know, photography.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, I took a lot of pictures too. I never seen so many foreign cars in one place. I mean, yeah, that was new to me. So, yeah.
I think it was very interesting, very fun, a lot of fun games to play, and we actually doing modeling for Chicago. We took a lot of pictures about the nice foreign cars for 2019, so it was very fun and interesting today. We was very happy to get out here before it was over with and enjoy ourselves before the day was over.
And you got a day off school tomorrow, so you can stay till 10 o'clock.
That's for sure. Now, have you attended the auto show before in the past?
Yeah.
How many years have you guys been coming back and forth? Your second?
Yeah, this is my first. That's his second.
This is my third.
3 years in a row. 1, 2, 3. Boom!
We love the car show, so we try to make it our duty to get down here every year and enjoy this perfect.
What do you two enjoy about the vehicles, the cars that you see?
You could touch a car and just say to yourself like, "Oh man, this car me, I need this for the rest of my life." Like that's crazy.
It gives you motivation of the new cars that's out right now. It gives you motivation that the feeling of the power that the cars have, and to create the time for the creation that they put in for the cars that's here with us today. So it inspires us a lot to get these cars.
Have you done any? Because they have some test driving that you can do. They have. I couldn't believe this, Marty B. We had the general manager on earlier to start the show off, and he said there's like a road course that they actually built. Have you guys been on that?
Not yet.
And that's on the very first level when I first
Mike,
came in.
what was your experience?
It was very nice. I mean, it cruised right through. You can feel it gliding. It's kind of feeling like a roller coaster, but it feels great. It feels good to be in a new car.
That's phenomenal. It really is, and it's impressive. And have you noticed a difference with this being your third year in attendance? Have you noticed a difference or any improvements from year to year?
Every year it get better and better. Every year.
In what regards would you say?
I could tell they put more effort in it, more time, and inside of what they like making, like.
And the different designs that they make each year, they make sure their cars are not the same. They have different speeds.
It's more updated every year, year by year.
My favorite cars was the Bentleys. I liked the Bentleys.
The what?
The Bentleys.
I like
the Benz. Oh, the Bentley.
Yeah.
Now
I like the Benz too. I like the Benz too.
Mathis, you're talking my kind of talk.
There you go. There you go. Well, hey, listen, you guys keep up the good work. What grades are you in? You're at Morgan Park. You're a senior?
Yeah. I go to McKinley Lakeside.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a junior at McKinney Lakeside.
God, good for you guys. As far as the next level college is concerned, what's your sights on?
Well, I want to go to school for nursing. I want to become a nurse when I get older.
Very good, Kaylee.
Yeah, I'll probably go to like a class for culinary or go to school for culinary or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like to cook?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I like to build on cars, mechanical work. I might take trades for Ford, because I heard they making about $57,000 a year. So
okay.
Take interesting.
Okay. Very nice starting salary for you.
No, that's very good. Culinary school here in Chicago. You go to Kendall College right down there. It's a fabulous school. There's no question.
Acceptance letter from Kennedy King too to come down there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nursing, they said that's one of the top 5 growing fields in the next 5 years. It's a top growing field, so they're certainly looking for young men and women to get involved, to get involved. So all 3 of you guys and young lady, you're on the right path. God bless you. Thank you so very much for taking some time. Now I asked you, where do you guys live?
We stand in Loop area.
Who said the east side?
That's where we're from. We're from the east side, bro. We stand.
And what did I tell you?
Oh, that's just a lake.
There's no east side.
And Mr. Riles grew up in the Beverly area.
There's no east side. The lake is the east side. Well, thank you so very much again for coming on out. We appreciate you taking some time to be a part of the Rewind Sports 60. Ladies and gentlemen, I did promise you. I said sports conversation. We had to intercept these kids and bring them on over to get their perspective, pick their brains, get their viewpoint of what they think about the Chicago Auto Show. And Marty B he's producing and orchestrating everything, so we apologize
Jerry,
for that.
but I saw this handsome gentleman taking all this wonderful photography, and we wanted to have a chance to meet you.
Hi, my name is Marcus Robinson, and I'm a photojournalist here in Chicago. I have captured everything, and these are my guests. I brought them to the auto show.
Is that right?
Well, you couldn't have selected 3 finer young people. Thank you for bringing them with you today.
All right.
Marcus, thank you so very much. And you're not the Marcus Robinson that used to play for the Bears, are you?
No, I'm the one that's from Inglewood. I'm from the south side of Chicago.
Thank you so very much. When we come back, we'll get into some sports conversation. You've got the Rewind Sports 60 broadcasting, streaming live on YouTube from the world's famous Chicago Auto Show 2019 right here at McCormick Place. This is the Rewind Sports 60. More coming up right after this short timeout.
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout. So don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in. If it's Chicago sports you want, you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
That team plays unbelievable team basketball, and they're going to be over at Mount Prospect playing for their title. We have got a very tough game at Evanston. Oh, congratulations to Dave Weber. We wrapped up our side of the conference. We'll be at Evanston. Hey, when the ball goes up, you never know.
You never know, Marty B. And you never know. It's the fastest 2 hours in sports conversation, Marty. Real quick before we have to say our goodbyes.
Yeah, just a couple of points here. Congratulations to the Marshall. I used to call them Commandos. I guess they have a different name now. The Class 2A Girls Championship. They beat Walter Christian 59-40, 59-45. But I want to mention something about, I just love her. I've met her. Dorothy Gators, who is such a legend.
Oh, she's phenomenal.
She's terrific. Dorothy does a great job, not only with the basketball players and on the court, but in developing these young ladies in all aspects of their life. And Jerry, one day I'm going to be persistent, and I'm going to get Dorothy on with us.
Sounds good. I know Dorothy. She's a great young lady. Real quick, Marty.
Okay, I know we got to wrap it up quick. Again, a lot of kudos to Rashawn H.E., the star at Bogan, who a lot of people feel is the top player, big man in the state, and we'll see who offers Rashawn a scholarship. And last but not least, I would be remiss, and Jerry, if you'll recall, last year we had the Yardley Lung ladies from Hoffman Estates, the bowling team,
yes,
that finished second in the state.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, when I watched them bowl last year during the year, I paid particular attention to the Schaumburg Saxons.
There you go.
Now, I have to say something about the Schaumburg Saxons.
Make it quick.
Okay, very, very quick. They set an all-time record this past week in a bowling match, 1,252 points. Nobody's ever done that before, and this team averages 250 points all the time.
That's unbelievable. He's the man on the street, Marty B. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the fastest 2 hours of sports conversation, the fastest 2 hours at the Chicago Auto Show. We want to say thank you to our guest, Dave Sloan, with the Chicago Auto Show, President and General Manager. Mark Bielik, he's the Senior Director of Communications. Jennifer Moran, Director of Public Relations and Social Media. John Baker stopping by to say hello to us. And, of course, the marvelous one, Dan Marvelous Marver, talking some high school and college basketball. On behalf of Roman, our camera operator, Jay-Z, Jason Zinner, our technical director, and yours truly, Jerry Riles, we want to say have a safe Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful out there. Have an enjoyable week. Stay warm. Drive safely. And we'll see you again next week. Saranello's Restaurante Italiano in Wheeling. Take care, everybody. Good night.
My name is Mindy Minjaro, Mending Manifestation Podcast number 16 today, and I am a spiritual coach and life coach and consciousness coach. I hope you and your family are having a great summer, and today I'm going to talk about old identity versus new identity. We all of us going through right now a lot of challenges to struggling who you want to become and who you are, who you want to be, doing heaven, and trying to find out this spiritual life being through the 12 dimensions of lifestyle that we want to be really entitled to. But it seems like easy, but it's not really that easy to get from old identity, the desired reality that you wanted to create through new identity. And because of the current reality is not matching a desired reality, so you have resolve through intention. When you have that intentions, you have a lot of intention to structure, so you have the faithless resistance, and so you become in to go back to, there is nothing to change, fix. You have to just go back to old identity. And this time what's happening is you have to unplug, which I have mentioned before, recode. What we do for unplug recode is all this auto emotional alignment, which is beliefs and your judgment and the way of past traumas, anything that you had in your life that have been who you were not really meant to be who you were. So basically what we address is right now what you have, you're dealing with your belief system, your core beliefs, your emotional beliefs, and you have the story background, which is holding you, not becoming desired reality, which is desired reality that what you do is like have anchoring that what you want to be. It's just right there, you have just falling the rubber band. So when you have desired reality, you're excited, and first we do practice excited about it and feeling it and having it. How would you feel like having it? Feeling experience through the emotion. When you have that, how would you feel like it? What would you feel like it? What does it feel like for you to have that kind of lifestyle? First of all of us right now is really struggling in a little different situation, which is on a really unprecedented timing, events, things happening. For example, all of us not really traveling the way we used to in summertime. Which is really frustrating, and also doing things we used to do is going to be happening for a while. And also a lot of people haven't restricted the things in job and family situation right now, constrained, the energy is frustrated. For that gives you really pull back who you were with old identity, which even worse. And because that gives you really trouble you back to who you really don't want to be, and you have a lot of pressure, a lot of frustration, anger, and guilt, and shame, all kind of different energy through emotionally. You are not exactly who you want to be, and desired reality. When you have desired reality in heaven, it's just visualize that, close your eyes, just take a deep breath, and just what would you like to have the feeling you have it. For example, if you have the choose to be, I want to have the health and vitality, which is the best healthy body. You feel in love in your body, and when you have that feeling well-functioned body, you love in your body, you excited about it, you already having it, you already have that pictures feeling through with that looking at image that you already have in it. Have exercise and feeling energetic, feeling highly vibrated, highly excited and inspired to do, get up and doing things you would love to do every day. And then when you have current reality, what's happening, and you're frustrated, overwhelmed, not excited, not really energetic, frustrated, and all other emotional alignment out of alignment, which is that's you're not really matching who you want to be, the desired reality. Guess what? You pull back the rubber band, back a lot of intention, but intention throws you back to the current reality. It's like a current. When you have lots of water, you're staying in the ocean. What we do, feel there's so much current, you feel like beautiful, all of a sudden so much like tide and come in, you pull back. Same thing, or resistance, it's path least of resistance, because our body is so much 70-80% water. Is any energy, emotion, any pressure is always constantly changing through. So that's why when you have the desired reality, imagine already having it, seeing and feeling it and having it, and feel, close your eyes where you want to be, you have that body, or you choose to have the life that you love. When you choose to have a life that you love, first of all, you close your eyes. Well, how would you feel like it? Have that life and just feel. You close your eyes and meditate about it and having fun, and just imagine all the things you already have, and just visualizing it and having it and experience it and touch and feel it, all the feeling. And then what you feel is amazing. You feel inspired, empowered, and excited, energetic, a sense of complete, sense of confidence, and just all amazing feeling bliss, and just childlike, wonder-like, everything. You just there is the endless of sense of peace and gratitude, appreciation, love, and joy, and so much compassion. It's just a lot of amazing feeling, because that's when you have the desired reality. How would you feel like when you go back to Hulu, back to rubber band, then you go back to the current reality. Then when you go back to current reality, like, oh, this is like not happening. How it's gonna happen? I can do it this? Am I good enough? I'm a worthy? Can I do this? I'm capable, because I never have done. There is so much uncertainty. I don't know what I'm doing. You really love, and everyone has to create the life that you desire. And thank you, everyone. And remember, you are amazing. You are awesome. So God loves you. So do I. And I just want to appreciate you, and I love you, and have an amazing week, and see you next time. Have a blessed week. Thank you.
TheRewindSports60.com. 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 Relax, reset, rejuvenate. Go to a link right now to restart your life. TheRewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60. TheRewindSports60.com.